All right, guys, this is Norval Central coming back at you with another YouTube video. And at this time of the recording, I have about 2,100 subscribers so far. I really appreciate all the love and support so far on all of my videos. I'm just trying to put out daily content, quality content that everyone will enjoy. And I really, really appreciate it. It really means a lot to me. If you can, hit that subscribe button. It is completely free. Let's go ahead and try to get up to 90 likes on this video. Just talking about today with recruiting. Now, the February signing period is something that isn't really talked about in today's age because of the early signing period later on, earlier in December. I think that's very important to understand because a lot of us a couple of years ago would call out of work or call out of school or call out of doing anything and really just being lazy and watching the college football signing day all throughout the day in the first week of February. But now that has changed. A lot of these kids are coming in and early enrolling pretty early. Some kids are still enrolling during the summer. That's still a possibility and everything like that. It does take a little bit to be a dual enrollee in college or in high school, excuse me, to go ahead and graduate early. And I think that's really important to understand. But Florida State have had a really good class so far. I mean, you've got a five-star wide receiver in Hakeem Williams, who I think is going to be really special and actually have a factor in probably playing some significant snaps this season. You got a Lucas Simmons, who I think is going to be a really pivotal piece going forward there. Lamont Green Jr., his father used to play at Florida State. Vandrevius Jacobs, a four-star wide receiver there. Brock Glenn, your quarterback of the future, basically, that Florida State's been wanting for quite some time, flipped him from Ohio State. And next thing you know, we're able to kind of get him in. Conrad Hussey from St. Thomas Aquinas is going to be enrolling this summer. I think it's going to be another safety that I think you're going to have to kind of rely on early on in his career. Blake Nicholson, a four-star linebacker. Everyone talks about linebackers and the need for linebackers, but here you go. I mean, this is a guy that's really special. Keith Sampson in the middle of that defense as the defensive tackle, I think is very important. Just some guys that you can really kind of lean on. And Florida State really wasn't done just yet in terms of that. They had a lot of quality transfers like Ventrell Cypress. He was the second overall portal transfer. I think that was very important for Florida State to be able to get in the secondary because now you're able to kind of move if you wanted to move Renato Green over to safety or anything like that. I personally think Green is going to stay at cornerback, and then you're going to try to find a piece to stay over there at corner, and maybe you can move a Jarian Jones over to safety, which I don't really see as likely, but maybe in a Marion Cooper. I mean, there's just a lot of options that you can kind of go to, and I think versatility is going to be a big key in how Patrick Surtain is going to have to kind of figure out that whole rotation. Braden Fisk is another guy at the defensive tackle spot I think can be really good playing defensive tackle or defensive end. Jaheim Bell is another dynamic tight end that Mike Norvell's not really had in this system so far. And I think you're really understanding that. I think Jordan Wilson did a good job when he was here. I think Cam did a really good job as well. Marquise Douglas is another guy in the rotation I think can really be a factor there. Gilbert Edmond, I think, is another guy at South Carolina who can come in as a defensive end and be able to kind of spell some other guys in there with Patrick Payton and also Jared Verse as well and Derek McClendon. But there's just a lot of great guys that I think Florida State's really hit on, especially in the transfer portal and recruiting wise, that could be really good. Now, Florida State did have some preferred walk-ons today that did commit to the program, and we got 2023 defensive back Donnie Hilbert. He is actually from Gainesville. It is actually during the senior season, he had over 100 tackles, 9 tackles for loss, 2 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles. I think he's a really good piece that you can add to your defensive backfield room. Low risk, high reward type of preferred walk ons that do not take scholarships at this point. You also got defensive end Xavier Perkins. He's actually from the Tampa area. He's kind of a dynamic pass rusher. They really like his size and his frame that he has so far. I think it'd be a guy that could really be useful. And then you want to talk about the third one that you have is linebacker Brandon Torres. He's actually from Naples, Florida, and I think this is a really important factor to understand that you want to continue to get linebacker depth in that room because I think the depth at that position after this season might be tested because you do have Tatum Bethune, Kalen DeLoach, and also Brendan Gant that are redshirt seniors. So you're trying to find effective ways to be successful at that position. I think you just start trying to get capable bodies that can be able to go in there, but not only just capable bodies, but guys with really good skill sets. I think you're trying to find some other guys, and I think this is a really good opportunity. Look at CJ Campbell, for example. CJ Campbell come in as a preferred walk-on, has worked his way in, and now he's kind of getting to that point where he can be a Trayshawn Ward is another example. Preferred walk-on turning into a scholarship was an effective piece, was Florida State's running back number 1, and then he turned around and got hurt, and then now he's out to transfer at Kansas State. But man, what some stories there could be for preferred walk-ons. Now, the other thing is too is you cannot rely on these preferred walk-ons as it is. I think that's very important just to kind of understand with everything going there. You also got quarterback Michael Grant. He's actually from the Tallahassee area. I think can really be factored there. Homeschool kid. I think that could be really good there. And then also Grant Fielder, he is another defensive end that is from the Georgia area. I think can really be factors there. I think Florida State's hit on a couple of those guys. So I think this is really big for everything going on. And I think Florida State can really, really do some great things this signing day. And I wouldn't rule out for any transfers that come later on in the upcoming semesters and everything like that. But you also have to understand too. I've gotten this question a lot about Jaheim Singletary, and this is the Georgia defensive back, and everyone wants to know what's happening with him and everything like that. Florida State's already been through classes for about 4 weeks now, 3.5 weeks. And it's going to be kind of tough for him to come in and be able to kind of get eligible for those classes for this upcoming semester, this semester that we're in right now. So really, the next time that he's going to be able to come in is probably going to be May when he enrolls. So if he does decide to do that, we'll see. I don't even know if he's visited yet because of his family members and loved ones just kind of being under the radar with some of these things. And I think it's just going to be something we're going to have to monitor throughout the process. But I think they're going to continue to look at transfers, continue to look at some other guys as well as soon as spring practice hits. And, you got the spring game in April, so you're turning around and having to have that factor of those guys transferring out of certain programs and being able to be successful in getting some other pieces, maybe from some more elite programs as well, to kind of fix some positions of needs for Florida State going forward there. But I really appreciate all the love and support so far. If y'all have any questions or anything like that, feel free to DM me on my Instagram account at Norvell Central or my Twitter account at Central Norvell. I really appreciate all the love and support as always, and go Noles.